Good morning. I would like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to present today. Here is my disclaimer slide. I'll start with a brief overview of safety assessment during clinical development, focusing on general guidelines for safety monitoring during trials and key considerations in regulatory decision-making during new drug review process. In the second half of my talk, I intend to provide a high-level, generally applicable approach to safety monitoring in hepatitis B clinical trials, and will end with brief discussion of discontinuation of HBV treatment in clinical trials aimed at finite duration therapies. The focus of safety evaluation during drug development is to characterize and quantify the safety profile of a drug during clinical trials, avoiding unreasonable or unnecessary risks to trial participants is paramount. Assessment of risk and risk mitigation is done as part of benefit risk assessment during comprehensive review of the pre-marketing application. Pre-marketing surveillance is an integral part of drugs life cycle. We may identify new safety signals or identify more serious or more frequent reports of a known safety risk during the post-approval period once a drug is used more widely and under more diverse conditions in a real-world setting. Let's start with safety review for first-in-human trials. The purpose of this safety review is to reach a determination if the proposed clinical trial is safe to proceed. Review of available non-clinical data and toxicology studies is done to assess whether it supports the proposed clinical program, including the proposed dose and duration. Focus is on seeking the minimum effective dose necessary to test the scientific hypothesis. Limiting duration of exposure in initial trials and selection of appropriate study population to exclude at-risk populations in initial trials. Review of clinical protocol is done to determine if there is a plan for adequate safety monitoring for organ toxicities, whether these toxicities are clinically monitorable or manageable in trial settings, and if there is a follow-up plan for delayed toxicities in human trials. This slide outlines some of the key considerations when developing safety monitoring plans for phase 2 or 3 trials. The protocol should include pre-specified safety monitoring and assessment plan based on non-clinical data, PK/PD data, and early phase trial findings. Safety should be demonstrated at the lower doses prior to dose escalation. Staggered enrollments into cohorts should be considered based on demonstrated safety in the earlier cohorts. Having relevant drug-drug interaction information is important. Target population for the trial should be reasonable to avoid risk to vulnerable subpopulations. Any dose-limiting toxicity should be considered and adequately monitored, and dose modification guidelines should be clearly outlined in the protocol. Pre-specified stopping rules should be incorporated into the study's protocol related to safety endpoints, both for individual subjects and for overall trials. Specific safety monitoring may be needed based on known safety issues in a drug class and to assess potential for overlapping toxicities with individual drugs in the combination regimen. Pre-specified interim safety assessments and independent data safety monitoring boards review of ongoing data may help in making prompt decisions if new safety concern is identified during clinical trials. Benefit risk assessment during drug review is a systematic process to assess the benefits and risks of a drug in support of the regulatory decision. This assessment is informed by many factors as shown in this benefit risk framework, including but not limited to the severity of the underlying condition and how well patients' medical needs are addressed by currently available therapies, including effectiveness, safety, and tolerability of available therapies. And are there any benefits provided over existing therapies? These provide therapeutic context for weighing the drug's benefits and risks. A thorough and comprehensive assessment of drug safety and efficacy is informed by the clinical trials data. Assessment of risk involves overall understanding of product safety profile. What are the most important identified safety concerns? Are there any specific risks that may require risk management beyond product labeling, such as post-marketing safety studies to further characterize the safety concern? Safe is interpreted as the determination that a drug's benefits outweigh its potential risk to the intended population. In summary, benefit risk assessment takes into consideration therapeutic effect and demonstrated safety or tolerability profile of the new investigational agent in the context of underlying disease and current treatment options available. Moving on to safety monitoring in hepatitis B clinical trials. The general principles I discussed earlier apply to hepatitis B clinical trials as well. One of the unique challenges with hepatitis B trials is assessment of hepatic flares. For example, to discern immune clearance-associated flares from signal of potential drug-induced liver injury is challenging. 3 different broad categories of flares, which are listed on the slide, were proposed at the EASL AASLD HBV endpoints workshop held last year in London. As we all know, predicting the severity of hepatic flares is difficult. Close monitoring of low-grade ALT elevations is necessary to monitor trends. Specific criteria for defining and monitoring of hepatic flares during treatment and after stopping therapy should be well characterized. Severe flares with deterioration in synthetic and excretory functions can be serious and life-threatening, particularly in patients with advanced liver disease. Adverse events of death or liver transplantation, hepatic decompensation, irreversible autoimmunity, or cases of severe hepatitis flare are major safety concerns. Now let's focus on systematic assessment of liver safety in hepatitis B trials. A working group led by Dr. Fontana, which had multi-stakeholder participation, published certain consensus recommendations late last year. These recommendations include guidance on evaluation and management of liver safety signals during clinical trials. I would like to emphasize that it is crucial that systematic data collection is done during clinical trials and full workup is done to rule out alternative causes of liver injury for a thorough causality assessment. Certain criteria for treatment interruption or discontinuation are also discussed in this paper. Consideration should also be given to convening an independent expert adjudication panel that may play an important role in assessing drug hepatotoxicity profiles during clinical development. I'll spend next few minutes talking about observed adverse events with immunotherapeutic agents. I would emphasize that safety monitoring plans should consider mechanism of action of the drug, as there may be different safety concerns associated with specific drugs. Cytokine release syndrome has been reported with T-cell engaging therapies. It is a supraphysiologic response to immune therapy that activates T cells or other immune effector cells. Cytokine release syndrome is an acute systemic inflammatory response characterized by a wide spectrum of clinical manifestations. A more severe syndrome may result in multi-organ system failure. It is important to note that the risk, time of onset, and duration may vary depending on the type of agent being evaluated. Now moving on to immune-mediated adverse reactions, which have been reported with immunotherapies such as immune checkpoint inhibitors. These adverse reactions can be clinically significant and potentially fatal. This figure shows the various manifestations across organ systems. Frequency of adverse reactions is dependent on specific agent or combination of agents being used, duration of exposure, and the total dose. Intrinsic host factors may also play a role. Treatment often includes immunosuppression or hormone replacement therapy. This slide lists some of the considerations when evaluating oligonucleotide-based investigational drugs. In regard to observed adverse events, severe thrombocytopenia has been reported with some antisense oligonucleotides. Peripheral neuropathy and mortality has been observed with an siRNA drug. Of note, some of the potential off-target binding by these drugs could lead to species-specific toxicities, which may not be detected in toxicology studies. Appropriate in silico and in vitro methods should be used for off-target assessments to identify potential off-target mismatches. In certain scenarios, the toxicity of the excipients in the formulation may characterize the overall toxicity profile of the investigational drug. As we know, there is a lot of interest in the field towards development of new finite duration treatment regimens. In next two slides, I will focus on the discontinuation of HBV treatment in the context of clinical trials evaluating finite therapies. In general, when evaluating finite duration therapies, off treatment refers to discontinuation of all drugs, investigational agent, as well as any background NRTI therapy. There are safety concerns regarding stopping NRTI therapy in virally suppressed patients on stable treatment regimen. Hence, criteria for stopping therapy at the end of the investigational treatment period should be well defined in the protocol and should be based on clinically validated biomarkers to ensure that discontinuation of therapy does not pose undue safety risks to the trial participants. Use of novel biomarkers such as HBV RNA or decline in surface antigen levels as a trigger for treatment interruption should be supported by strong scientific rationale and should be discussed with the FDA in advance of trial initiation. Scientific consensus is much needed on appropriate stopping criteria in the context of clinical trials. To demonstrate sustained response of treatment, the duration of treatment consolidation period needed after achieving surface antigen loss on treatment needs to be systematically assessed during clinical trials. Of note, this may vary based on the mechanism of action and half-life of a specific investigational drug being evaluated. Severe acute exacerbations of HBV infection may occur after discontinuation of anti-hepatitis B therapy, particularly in the absence of surface antigen loss. Pre-specified criteria or plans for frequent clinical and laboratory monitoring for flares is critical. In certain circumstances, resumption of hepatitis B therapy may be warranted. Detailed plan for treatment reinitiation should be pre-specified in the clinical trial protocols. Long duration of follow-up is needed for patients who remain off therapy, both for safety assessment and for durability of response. Known and potential risk of investigational drug, as well as pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic characteristics should inform additional safety monitoring and duration of follow-up. As we look forward to research and development in the area of possible finite duration therapies for hepatitis B, it is very important that we hear directly from patients to understand how patients view the benefits and risks of therapies for hepatitis B. Hepatitis B Foundation convened a patient-focused drug development meeting earlier this year. This meeting provided an important opportunity to hear directly from patients, their families, their caregivers, and patient advocacy groups. Enhancing understanding of patient preferences and the potential acceptability of trade-offs between treatment benefits and risk outcomes should help inform the focus of new drug development and future clinical trials. To conclude, FDA monitors and reviews safety information about the drug throughout the product life cycle. benefit risk assessment is the foundation for FDA's regulatory review of human drugs and biologics. Safety of a drug is assessed by determining whether its expected benefits outweigh its potential risks in the context of the disease and available therapeutic options. Multidisciplinary assessment is key in assessing safety risks during every phase of drug life cycle. Change in safety monitoring plan may be warranted based on the emerging data during trials. Patient-focused drug development is crucial in moving the field forward. Engaging and collaborative discussions between academia, industry, regulatory agencies, and patient advocacy groups are essential to inform the overall drug development. FDA remains committed to facilitate the development of safe and effective therapies for hepatitis B to help millions of people that are affected with the disease globally. Thank you. I can address any questions you have during the panel discussion.